We welcome in Kyahva Tezino, the Mountain West Defensive Player of the Week. Kyahva, congratulations. And, you're from L.A. I think you said earlier in the week that this past Saturday was like your Rose Bowl game, playing in the Rose Bowl. You're on the first Aztecs team to beat UCLA. How much pride do you take in everything that happened Saturday for San Diego State on the road in Pasadena?
Yeah. Hey, Steve. Hey, thanks for having me. Steve, sorry about the game also. The game was perfect. I mean, I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed everything about it. I mean, it was just a great experience. I mean, I don't know. I'm still soaking it in right now, so I'm just excited we got the win.
All right, hold on here.
Yeah, that's exactly correct.
All right, now, Kyahva, look, I as a UCLA guy, okay, now I talked to J.D. Wicker on Friday, and I even gave him the blessing, beat these guys. I've already given up on these. Let me ask you this, Kyahva. Is that the worst team you've ever lined up against in your career at San Diego State?
No, I mean, hey, we don't talk about the teams, man. Hey, UCLA was a good team. I mean, we just happened. We were just a team to come out and win.
Kyahva, you certainly did. It felt like from the opening snap, you guys were going to win. From my vantage point, I was up in the booth calling the game. It just felt like you guys, I don't know, from a mentality standpoint and aggressiveness, especially defensively, emotionally, you were there and they weren't. What was said in the locker room prior to that game? Was there any sort of hype up? Was there anything different done or said prior to this one?
No, not really. I mean, it was just the same as always. We just actually the team just thought everybody was overlooking us again because we played a Pac-12 school. We're in the Mountain West, so I mean the team Coach Long didn't really have the same much. The players didn't really have the same much. Everyone was just ready to go because they knew what everyone was thinking about us, and we just wanted to go out there and prove everyone wrong.
I love it. So is that the mentality now? You've been a part of a couple of teams that have beaten Pac-12 opponents, big conference games against Group of Five, right? Everybody sort of talks about these things in that way. Is that why, from an emotional standpoint, it feels lopsided when the Aztecs play in these games because you like that underdog feeling that you sort of get labeled with?
Yeah. I mean, well, like I said, another interview ago, I said we love being an underdog. I mean, if we could be the underdog every week, that'd be a great thing because we don't like going in being the ones who's expected to win. We want to go in there when everyone's against us and all the odds are against us, and we just come out with the win.
Aztecs linebacker Kyahva Tezino, Mountain West Defensive Player of the Week. San Diego State took down UCLA in the Rose Bowl. First win for San Diego State over UCLA in school history. Kyahva, the 2 4th-and-1 plays that were huge plays for your defense late in the fourth quarter. Can you take us through those plays and what you envisioned and how they turned out?
Honestly, I was just trying to make a play for the team because I knew the fourth down. That would probably be a big momentum swing if we would have got that. So I just knew I couldn't let that happen to me. So the one to seal the game, the last one on the run play, Coach Long just made a great call. I mean, really, I just ran the blitz that we called, and I mean, I just made a play on him. It was just me and my teammates. We were just talking about it. We got to get a stop and everything. So it all worked out how it worked out, and we got the win. So.
Kyahva, let me ask you. I mean, you get this big win against UCLA. I mean, finally get the monkey off your back, right? 21-22 games, and you finally beat UCLA. You're sitting at 2-0 right now. Some people questioning not looking dominant at the very least against Weber State in the opening game. But I know it was a long off season for you guys because you were all disappointed how last season ended. Do you feel like after this big win at the Rose Bowl that maybe you got a little of the mojo back? Like you guys are sort of like, hey, beginning to strut around like you have in the past in your Aztec career?
Yeah, it's a huge momentum builder and a huge confidence builder, but we're just trying to stay humble, keep our humility, and never just overlook anyone, because that could be taken away so quick on any given Saturday. We just want to be able to just go out there and dominate each game at a time. So, I mean, I'm just telling the teammates and everyone, just take a game at a time, take it one snap at a time, one play at a time. So, if we can do that, I mean, the sky's the limit for us.
Hey, I've taken upon myself, and I hope you don't mind, I've given you a nickname. On the call, when you're playing out there, I've referred to you many times as the monster of the Mesa. You all right with that one?
Yeah. Coach Long was actually telling me I have a nickname to me. He told me that's what it was. I mean, I mean, that's what you guys think of me. It's fine. I'll go with it.
Okay, good. Listen, I mean, that's how nicknames work. You don't get to choose them. And so but you're a big man. I just want to make sure it was okay with you. The other thing I wanted to ask you about was the aggressiveness of Rocky Long's play calls in those moments that matter the most, the fourth downs, the critical third downs. I mean, he'll send the house sometimes, and you're thinking, boy, this is a gamble, but it pays off a lot. What does that do for you as a middle linebacker, the captain of this defense, when you get the call in from the sideline and you know you're bringing it against a team that's struggling against what you've been doing all day long? I mean, is that a part of the emotional asset you have playing for Rocky Long's defense in this 3-3-5?
Oh man, yeah. I mean, Coach Long, you know, whenever call he makes is always the best call for us on the defense because we know how much we've been coaching, you know how much knowledge he has. So, I mean, you know, as a captain and as a linebacker on the defense, you know, my job is to go out there and make the play or make sure someone else makes the play. I mean, obviously, on fourth down, you want to get the stop. I mean, and basically, in the situation at UCLA, that was basically the where the game could either went. We could have either lost or win. I mean, so I just hold it up to myself. And, I mean, every time I talk to the linebackers or the DBs, I just try to, in the D-line, to tell them, you know, 4th and 1, third down situations, we got to go out there and get a stop. We got to go out there and just make a play because, you know, everyone else is dependent on it, even the offense and the guys who is not playing on the field. So that's our mindset about that.
Kyahva Tezino joining us on Xtra. Kyahva, is this the best defense you've been a part of while at San Diego State?
I don't want to say the best because I don't want to give us a lot of credit right now because it's still early in the season, but I feel like we're going to be a special defense, though.
Well, Kyahva, I tell you what, congratulations again. You finally did it. You finally beat UCLA, although I have to tell you, Kyahva, it really doesn't count. Okay, and I only say that because this UCLA team is such an embarrassment to me right now, and it is just you know what? All the credit in the world. You guys dominated the game, especially on the defensive side. Kyahva, let's keep it going, man. We want a nice run for the Aztecs. 2-0. Let's continue this winning streak. Kyahva, congratulations again. Defensive Player of the Year of the week in the Mountain West as well. Well deserved, Kyahva.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys.
All right, there he is. He was ready for Bear.
He got set up. Steve.
Yeah, and listen, I mean, as he should be. Again, it's the underdog mentality. They're going to have to find it within themselves when they go on the road to New Mexico State.